Hey y'all, welcome back to Divine Encounters Ministry. We're about to talk about it. What scripture is it this week? Let's find out. Also, we're going to go ahead and read Proverbs 21 and 2. So we can just dive right into our conversation. And remember, y'all, please leave comments. Let me know that you went over the scripture. This is our second week of scripture of the week. And I thank everyone who left comments on the first scripture reading that we did do. And if you did not see that one, please go back and look at it. And all we're doing is we're studying the Bible together. It doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, we're learning together. That's what this ministry is about. And everyone will not agree with what I say. I won't agree with what everybody say, but we still can do this together. God speaks to all of his children differently. So what I get from the Bible scripture when I read it may be totally different from what you get, because God knows that we're all different. He created us, right? So he's going to speak to us according to who he created us to be. All right. So Proverbs 21 and 2. A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart. Again, Proverbs 21 and 2. A person may think their ways are right, but God weighs the heart. So what do we get from it? Let's talk about it. And like I told y'all, I am not going to hold you. I ain't gonna make you fall though either. We gonna get you sturdy. You may rock a little bit. Look, we might rock a little bit with God, be a little rocky, a little shaky, but look, the way God has us built up, we gonna be all right because of the Lord that we serve, right? But y'all, Proverbs, the whole book had me in a chokehold, okay? Had your girl in a chokehold, and y'all know God had me there for so long and he still has me there. Even when I'm going through he has me in all these other books of the Bible and all these other scriptures and stuff. He has not taken me out of Proverbs because I'm work in progress. But heart posture is where I really have been at, and God has been working on me with that, because my famous thing to say was, don't bag me in no corner and expect me not to fight my way out, baby. I will, baby, put me in that corner, because I ain't gonna come for you. But if you come for me, that was me. That was played no games. Okay? You come for me, it's going to be consequences. That was me. I'm quiet. I ain't gonna bother nobody, but you come for me, you're going to see the beast escape. That was me. All of this stuff that I'm saying was me. I would even say the whole to men, because I'm going to be honest, never really got into physical altercations with women. Women, it was more of words back and forward, and that would be, that's it. That's all, because my mouth was a beast. It was. I could really whoop somebody with my mouth, and I would say that all the time. With men, physical altercations, because my mouth was a beast and they could not take it. And I would always say this. I would say, okay, you can do whatever it is you want to do, but they gonna know you've been into it with somebody too, which means you might win because you're bigger, you're stronger, because you're a male. But when they look at you, they're going to know that you was in a rumble with somebody. And that's what I would always say too. So, and that was the old me. That was when I was younger, y'all. That wasn't recently or nothing, but I was really younger. And I'm really young. And when I was young, I did. It was a lot of fighting with males. But as I got older and more wiser, and then I think it also, I'm going to say, has something to do with my youngest daughter's dad, Leisha's dad. He was a very mild person, and he did not believe, he ain't putting his hands on a woman. He's not really raising his voice at a woman. Like, he just didn't do any of those things. So that helped me drastically. I realized that I was Like, that's one of the teachings that I got. Now we gonna do some story time on my other page channel about him, that situation, all of my situations. So on my other channel, Life with Camila Divine, I do story times, and I just tell you guys, give you guys glimpses of my life and stuff like that, so you can see, like, yeah, she came a long way. So when I say Proverbs 21:2, yes, that's where we're at, because heart posture is so important, y'all. And I know it's hard. Every day I struggle with it, because I had been Camila. Well, my nickname was Coco. I had been her for my whole life, up until the last couple of years of me just transforming, and then I embraced Camila, right? And Coco's heart posture was horrible. It was horrible. I wasn't walking around just starting stuff with people. That's never been, I've always been kind, but I always justified if I was rude because someone did me wrong and I felt like it was okay. Since they did me wrong, it's okay that I'm doing this, because they're not allowed to do me wrong, and I don't do anything. And it took me a while to figure out, like, God will take care of it. You don't have to wrong people. You can still be kind. You can still speak. And he started on me with that before I left being a teacher, because it would be home, like, it was so chaotic. The supervisor there was so mean. She was so not nice, not a nice woman at all. So it was hard for me to speak to her. I would walk right past her and not say anything. And then now I know the way that I would feel guilty. That was God convicting me of it back then, but I didn't know what that was. I just knew I felt led to, even if she doesn't speak to her. So, and I had got to the point, then I had started listening to gospel music, and I had got to the point where I just would, we call it kind of like spaz out, like at work, or go, because it was so bad, y'all. My heart posture was horrible. I am going to be honest. Like, I can say that my last job was the only job I did not almost get into a physical altercation at. My last job, and I've been working since I was 18, right? But it's been so many times that I've gotten in arguments or, almost physical altercations, just because my heart posture was not right and I couldn't handle what somebody said or did. Because like I said, I never deliberately just started anything with anybody, but my heart posture was still horrible. It's not an excuse. And at my last job, that's like, it was a lot of times that I almost got into fights, and God started calling me out on it. So after the incidents would occur, I would cry. And it wouldn't be, I would cry because I lost the battle. I would cry because I didn't like my heart posture. That's what it was. I didn't know that was what it was called then, but I didn't like my actions. That's what I would say. Back then, it was like, I don't like the way I act. Why did I do that? And that was God already starting to train me up. He was already starting to train me up and cleaning me out, filtering me. And I didn't realize that. So heart posture is very important. It's very important to know that we don't have to fight fire with fire. It's just going to make the flame bigger. But if I get something and try to cool that fire down, like, even water, if I put water on the fire, which is my kindness, it's going to maybe shed it all the way off, kill that fire, or at least make the flames less. And that's what I had to learn. Like, me acting, if they're acting belligerent, if I'm acting belligerent, what does that do? That intensifies it. That makes it even worse. But if I'm giving calm while you're acting out of character, you have no choice but to be calm, right? Because let's think about it, y'all. Who's going to argue with themselves? If they're arguing and you're not saying anything, who's going to argue with themselves? So when we talk about Proverbs 21:2, it's very powerful. If you ain't never read a scripture and you ain't never dived in and you ain't never asked God to help you with a scripture, this is one of the most important ones that's in the Bible for me. It's Proverbs 21:2. heart posture. Because a lot of times people will wrong you and you think that you just need to keep being, oh, I'm not going to say nothing to them, or they did this and so they better do. No, that is not of God. It's not of God to hold people, hold grudges, not forgive. And to be honest, it's not even healthy for you. That's not healthy. For you to hold all of that hate and anger and bitterness in. People are dying from that, y'all. It's not like that's what causes blood pressure to go up. Causes us to have heart attacks, strokes, and lose people. So check your heart posture. Let's take this scripture really seriously this week, y'all. Really dive into it. And it's okay that you're not perfect with it, but when you see that you're doing it, check yourself. Rewind. Give a do-over to you. You deserve it. And also our children and the people around us. We're setting an example. Heart posture. Proverbs 21:2. God is looking at your heart posture. He's looking at what comes from here. Your heart. Not this. Not fancy clothes. Not do you have the latest game system. Not do you have the latest shoes. Not how many watches do you have. Do you have the latest iPhone? God is looking right here. What does your heart posture look at? Take Proverbs 21:2 and apply it this week, y'all. Apply it. And I'm telling you, you will feel so much better when you just start letting things go that people do, but also standing firm on what he wants us to do. And this is something else that's really important. Remember, Jesus flipped over tables too. He got angry, but it was his heart posture with it, right? So I'm not saying walk around and be a wimp. Don't speak up for yourself. Just make sure your heart posture is right. Okay? Remember to allow God to be the navigation of your life. He will not steer you wrong. I love you. But most importantly, he does. And there ain't nothing you can do about it but love him right on back. And you guys have a happy Monday. And today is the 1st of June. Start out your month with a great heart posture. Let's start over. Let's start over.